Make coffee with me while I explain why women should have children instead of getting dogs to fill that void. Okay, cool. Thanks for making coffee with me. Make coffee.
So here I am pregnant with my first child, and here I am pregnant with our second child. At no point during any of these pregnancies did the thought of which one of my kids was going to wipe my butt came into the thought process, because I was not having a child or children to be my caretakers. And yes, I'm just showing y'all what my what my pregnancy photo shoots look like. So I just wanted to pull up the fact that I was a mother. But some of these moms that jump into these comment sections to try to shame child-free women, they're just sad or something. I just can, and I couldn't imagine being the child of one of these people that is just like, oh, you had me simply so I could wipe your butt when I get older. What kind of mess is that? Do these parents really think that kids are born just to be servants to them? Obviously they must. Because okay, this woman, a dog won't wipe your ass when you're 80. Having annoying kids for a few years is the trade off if you always want to be part of a family. That's your choice to make, but you will be 80 one day either way. I had my last child at 36. The reason why I do squats weekly, the reason why I do deadlifts, the reason why I walk up inclines and run and lift weights is so that I can try to wipe my own butt and use the bathroom for as long as I can so that I am not a burden on my child. While these people are sitting up here trying to be a burden, like it's just baked into the cake because they had some kids. So this person said, you had kids to serve you when you're old, selfish. And Elliot says, your kids probably won't wipe your ass when you're 80 either. If you don't have kids, you can afford to save up for retirement and live in a beautiful retirement community. Unlike all the parents whose kids hate them and then end up in terrible nursing homes. Yes, because the people that work in the medical community come onto these social media platforms and talk about how some parents don't get any visitors. So why do they act like birthing some children is, just it's just going to lead to having a caretaker? That's not how reality is. Like this person says, I'm not wiping my mother's ass when she's 80. Some children are just not going to do it. And why would you want to be a burden? You act like these kids are not supposed to go off and have a life. Jess says, your kids will be too busy with their kids to wipe anyone's ass. A caretaker will be doing that at a hefty price. So hope you saved a ton of money because your kids will have kids. They probably also won't pay for that care either because all of us are broke right now. Who has extra money? This is sad. I hope we see a 10-year update. I hope my daughter doesn't see this. I hope all the best for you and your choices. And this person says, I think it's sadder to use your children as a status symbol. I'm just tired of moms getting so sad at child-free women. Like, if somebody is doing something that you don't like, or no, that you didn't do, why does that impact your emotions at all? Somebody is doing something somewhere and I don't feel a thing about it. Like, it doesn't matter to me because it's not happening in my life. Why do these people care so much about these child-free women out here living their life? Like, why are your emotions impacted by somebody doing something or not doing something? What is wrong with these people? The person at the bottom says, I hope your daughter does see this and grows up knowing that it's perfectly okay to not have children. This person says, it's really odd you care if she has kids or not. You got to make your choice, let her make hers. And then somebody else says, this is a weird thing to say. Not everyone wants children. This is like if someone childless went up to you and just assumed you'd be miserable after having a baby. It's just rude. Right. Like, I don't get these people. Like, I know it's like, is it like a religion or something? People really define their lives and other people's lives based on if they're married with kids or not married with kids. It's such a weird phenomenon that I wish these overbearing parents would stop doing. As a mother of three daughters, this is a sad post, but go ahead and live your life. I'm glad that she gave permission for this random woman to live her life, because what would she have done? What is wrong with these people? And I'm going to end the screenshots on this particular post with, your argument is so flawed. Like, you don't even include outside opinions like getting birds instead of dogs. In 12 years, you'll regret not having a bird. Right. Let's bring some levity into it, because these people in their decision making and thinking that their decisions that they made for their lives is what other people should make. That's the reason why we're having such issues right now, is that folks really feel some type of way because people decided to go down a different path than they did. And I'm really still struggling to figure out why it matters so much. Especially, I talk to people, people send me stories. You see videos, so many fractured relationships, people who should not have had kids having kids, parents who really should have just been on long term birth control or used condoms because they have been reckless, they've been toxic, they've been non supportive, and then now their kids don't mess with them at all anyway. They're going no contact. Actually, matter of fact, I saw Monique's son is trending, and Monique is trending right now because of being on Club Shay Shay. In the comment section, I'm just going to attach Monique's son, because he don't F with her right now. And that this is a typical thing. You might think that you're having kids to wipe your butt, but what happens when your kids go no contact? And obviously this is not exactly the same, because Monique does have three kids that she is in contact with. But what happens when you have these kids and they just stop effing with you anyway? You're out of a lot of money, because kids are expensive. Yes, kids are expensive. Okay, so if you're on my TikTok page, just click into the caption if you haven't seen the video for Monique's son. If you're on my YouTube page, I'm just going to attach it. Yes, I know it doesn't really flow that well, but this is what we're doing right here. We're just going to smush stuff together. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.
Hi, I am Shalon. I am a stand-up comedian, Monique's oldest son. Um, I guess I felt the need to make this video to just provide some context into this false narrative about her praying to the universe in order to reconcile our relationship or whatever the hell it is. I wrote it all down so that way I don't go all over the place and get emotional or anything like that. So I'm gonna talk like I'm reading a script, but it's just gonna help me kind of stay together. But to address the Club Shay Shay interview that she did, where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. My mother and I both know that that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling that lie. Faith without work is dead, and neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other. We are separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. Neither one of us has had the desire to reach out to the other in a very long time, and I don't think that either of us anticipates that feeling ever returning. Speaking with my mother directly, in my experience, will either lead to some odd newfound moment of clarity in regards to how she was as my mother, or she retreats back to daddy to move forward with a conversation. And I'm tired of hearing my mother's truths. Newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but standing in your truth doesn't make you noble. I'm not sure if people are aware of that. But responding this way, I feel as though it allows me to say my piece uninterrupted. To those wondering, well, why say something now? Call it a form of therapy for me, I suppose. But when her daddy had intentionally stated that they have 3 sons, but his wife is on the internet talking about the 4th son in a video that has millions of views. That rubbed me the wrong way. But anyway, to inform a child that you are not interested in being a mother at a time when that kid is the only kid that has the potential to lead a child to believe that you are not interested in them specifically. But to take it a step further, you also admit, my mother had also admitted to me that she didn't do the best job that she could do, which would also make one begin to question, all of your past decisions and prior emotional interactions. But to be completely honest and fair, those were things that I was willing to get over. Nobody's perfect, we're all human. But my mother showed a clear lack of humility, compassion, and consideration when taking any level of accountability for those things. My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things, but she doesn't take accountability very well, and anything that she may take true accountability for, it's only at her convenience, in my experience. But if I had to guess, though, her interest in being a mother probably started around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. But that interest, obviously seemed one-sided, and as it should have been. By that time, I'm in my late teens, so to some degree, the excuse me, the neglect becomes easier to hide or validate, I guess you could say. There are now 2 baby boys in the house, that require attention. But still, during that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son. That did lead me down a path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life. In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology, but an apology to a son from a mother that consciously showed no interest in him holds no weight. There are still women to this day that my mother will give credit to for being more of a mother to me than she ever could. Her assistant, my cousin, being one of them. Every time, though, that my mother would state that she was right here whenever I was ready, that ideology still blows my mind today, that a person could openly admit to being an uninterested, not put my best foot forward type of parent and be so self-centered that they still express to the kid, you have to come to me when you're ready. You got to come to me for us to make this right. Okay. But I'm not sure what my mother could possibly think that she has shown me in the past or have for me now that's not money, goodness gracious, that would make me want to come to her or whatever those feelings are supposed to be. A mother is supposed to be the first woman that a boy falls in love with. I loved my mother very much, but my mother loved things more than she loved me, and she would validate her love for me by giving me things and would proceed to call me ungrateful or inconsiderate if said things did not have the desired effect. I couldn't imagine what it's like to be her, though, to ask God for what you want, and then he gives you what you need, though, only for you to ignore it and have the audacity to ask God for something else. And I'm glad I don't, I'm glad I didn't do that. And when he told you no, you went to the universe instead. By no means, though, do I want to give off any type of an impression that I am a victim of anything. That's not the case. As you can see, I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm a dad. I'm healthy, I think. I drink a lot of water. I'm getting over a cold now. I still have my days just like everybody else. And, there were a few things that she did teach me along the way. I did learn how not to love from my mother. I also learned to make sure that I never lose so much of who I am that I have to validate it through another person. And though I feel as though, you know, in hindsight, you know, I think she did it reluctantly, I do appreciate my mother, you know, for showing me what the top of the mountain looks like. You know what I'm saying? It did give me perspective on what hard work and dedication can get you, but I don't want something like that at the cost of giving up something that I created. I'm not. I don't want it that bad. And speaking of creations, I genuinely, truly, I really did want my mother to have a relationship with my daughter. I even fought through those intrusive thoughts that were, if she wasn't interested in you, what makes you think she's going to be interested in your kid? Um, but it took my mother no time at all to prove that those intrusive thoughts were correct. But what I can say, good for her, the universe did, you know, bless her with three other sons, and God willing, you know, I'm sure that one of them, all three of them are adults now. So I'm sure that all, you know, one of them, God willing, if not all three of them, will make her the grandmother that she wants to be. I still look forward, you know, to that moment for her. But overall, when it comes to the boys, though, I am happy that whenever they do hear me talk, sorry, my phone did something weird, but no, but whenever they hear me talk, they don't know what it is. They can't relate to what it is that I'm saying. My experience with my mother is not their experience with our mother. So my prayer for her and them is that they continue to see her the way that they see her now. I do also want to make sure that I say thank you to my mother for giving me life. Without that moment in time, I wouldn't have had my little one. But outside of that moment, there isn't anything that either of us has to offer the other. In my opinion, it's a waste of God's time and the universe's time for praying for something that you were not willing to put forth any effort to obtain. Putting the work into becoming Monique is more important to my mother than being my mother. And I do not believe that it was never about her being there and waiting for me, but it was supposed to be about me being there and waiting for her. Um, my mother's value had reached such a low point in my life that I no longer found it necessary to either want to wait for her or even go to her. But like I said, man, I'm super grateful that she has the opportunity to do it all over again. You know, I'm happy for her. I hope the Cat Williams tour goes well, but you know, the narrative that she prays for us to reconcile is a false narrative. It's not real, and I'd appreciate it if she stopped saying stuff like that.